He is I guess what do we call him? The new top draft expert at the NFL Network? The senior draft expert? I don't know. I mean, DJ, how do you want to be referred to, Daniel Jeremiah? What do you think?
I've been all this media I've been doing in the run-up to the event, Rich. I've been introduced. I think my business card officially says the new Mayock.
The new Mayock.
That's what I've been called. Yeah, my kids now. Hey, the dinner's ready. All right, whatever you say, new Mayock.
New Mayock. Hashtag new Mayock in town. There's a new Mayock in town, people, and his name is Daniel Jeremiah. Good to chat with you, brother. Right off the bat, we know you're not Mayock because you didn't go 2 hours in your first NFL Network teleconference.
Let's dig into this, Rich. I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
Because there is some stats involved there with the length. Now, let's keep in mind a couple different things here.
Sure. Okay.
Keep in mind with the age, no bathroom breaks. Okay, that gets factored in. No bathroom breaks. Number one. Number two. There's no. I have my notebook where I start with the process, but I put everything into this thing called a computer, so I can access the information a little quicker. So I think if you factor all these things in, then maybe my conference call length would have been extended a little bit when you do the conversion.
Well, I mean, to use a little bit more of the phraseology then from your world, the eye in the sky does not lie. And it was an hour and 55 minutes, DJ. I was like, how do you not just at that point just go an extra 5 minutes just to clock in at 2 hours? How does that happen?
Look, that's Andrew Howard's show, man. I'm just there. I just show up when I'm supposed to be there, and you tell me when I'm done.
Dropping the name of an NFL Network, a member of the NFL Network PR staff. All right, DJ, let's get into it. Kyler Murray over Dwayne Haskins. Why do you have that on your top 50 going into the Combine?
Sure. Yeah, when I started out with the process, I had two real concerns with Kyler Murray, and they weren't based off of what I saw on the field. It was, number one, first and foremost, are you committed to football? Because you cannot play two sports at that position. I don't think you can flirt with another sport, to use one of Deion's phrases there. I just wouldn't work. So that was a concern. Well, he checked that box by eliminating baseball. Then you go to the second concern for me was durability. Not the height. It was more to me about the bulk. I had heard from some people that had went through Oklahoma, he's probably going to weigh 185 pounds, 183 pounds, somewhere in that range. Man, I don't know if you can hold up at that position, at that weight. So now I find out, and I think Peter King even reported the other day that he was up to, 206 pounds or something. So I don't know if he played at 200, if he played at 195, whatever. But the fact that he's over 200 pounds helps with some of that, because he does do a good job for a smaller quarterback, much like Russell Wilson, of protecting himself. He'll slide, he gets out of bounds, he'll turn his shoulder when he's got heavy pressure. So when you're smaller like that your whole life, you kind of know how to protect yourself a little bit.
So let's talk fit then.
Yeah.
Giants sitting there 6 overall when we're there on the first Thursday night of the draft in Tennessee, and have a choice between the two guys. You would counsel the Giants to take Kyler Murray over Dwayne Haskins?
I have Kyler Murray over Haskins. So if I was running a team, I would go in that direction. Now, if you say forecasting, what do I think they would do? I would say Dwayne Haskins fits the mold, obviously, with more of what they've had there traditionally with the Giants. So it's kind of two different questions there. The only thing I would caution is, last year, can you find a more polar opposite quarterback from Lamar Jackson than Joe Flacco? So that was a total shift in philosophy there for the Ravens. Who knows? Maybe the Giants shock us and do the same thing.
So what would be your concern on Murray? Is it truly his height? I mean, is there anything about the measurement tomorrow that would concern you when he finally steps, as we all assume he will, next to a tape measure?
Yeah, I come back to when Russell came out, and I remember what my grade was on Russell Wilson before he measured at the Senior Bowl, and I had him at the top of the second round type grade. And after the Senior Bowl, I can't tell you the number of times I had people tell me, in 100 years in the NFL, there's never been anybody like this. So you're going to say this is the one that's going to really make it happen. It's going to, And I allowed that to kind of scare me off my grade a little bit. I dropped him around. I dropped him to the third round range. We were in Philadelphia. We ended up not getting him there. And then I kind of vowed from that day forward, I'm just going to trust my eyes, man. And when I watched Kyler Murray there was some moments in the first half of the Alabama game where I thought he looked small. I don't know if he can see, and this is an issue. And then he pulled himself out of it. He adjusted to it and showed that he could function in that type of environment. So everything else I saw, drive the football, touch throws, work through progressions, I saw all of it. And then you add on top of that just such a dynamic weapon with his legs that I'm not going to get scared off the 5'9" thing.
Well, I mean, in terms of Russell Wilson, he had meat hooks like he was 6'5", though. I mean, is
huge
that
hands, long arms? Yeah.
so? Is that something? Is that more pertinent than hand size to than how tall Kyler's going to be when we find out tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who's a longtime paranoid scout, I'm already readying myself to answer the questions if his hands come in at 8 and 6, 8 and 3/4 or 8 and 7/8. But again, when I watched the tape, I never saw it as an issue. So I'm in the boat, Rich. So we'll see what these measurements come in.
Damn straight you are. You got him above Haskins on your top 50, and I don't know anybody else who does. I mean, last one for you on this before we move on, Daniel Jeremiah. Are you hearing that he might not throw Saturday? What are you hearing there at Indianapolis about Murray's?
I have not heard anything. I know I'm crossing fingers and toes that he'll do everything for our sake, but have not heard anything yet.
So why wouldn't he throw? I mean, it's every year we have this about a top prospect. We know Darnold didn't throw. If I'm not mistaken, Luck did not throw. Obviously, that didn't have anything to do with their draft positioning eventually or their readiness for the NFL. I mean, what would that indicate to you, yay or nay, Daniel?
Well, I don't think there's anything that, as you mentioned, a couple really good players. There's nothing that really correlates between whether you throw here and what kind of player you're going to be. So it's just kind of a personal decision of whether you want to or not. The only reason I would think he wouldn't throw is not knowing the particulars of the decision-making process to not do baseball and to commit fully to football. So, in other words, when the season ended, most of these guys immediately went to training facilities and started throwing and working out and getting ready to go for this event. Now, when did that process start for him? Obviously, firsthand, having talked to him at the Super Bowl, that at that point in time, nothing was decided. So when did he begin the training process would probably answer whether or not we're going to see him.
All right, and then I lied. Last one for you on this Honda Insider Report, Daniel Jeremiah. You do your pod, Move the Sticks pod with Bucky Brooks, who, if I'm not mistaken, tweeted out that he likes Haskins more than anybody in last year's quarterback class. Do you agree with that?
No, I love Bucky, and we'll have a fun discussion about that on the podcast today. But I don't. I'd have him behind Darnold, Rosen, Mayfield, and Josh Allen for me. He would be behind those guys. Again, he's a good player. I have him as the 18th player in this draft. I thought last year's group was really, really good.
So I assume you heard DJ Steve Keim say that Rosen is right now for sure their quarterback. And then
what was the inflection? Because I saw the quote, but I didn't see it.
We're wondering what the inflection is. I got to reach out to Keim. I'm going to text him in the commercial break, see if he'll come on, or just tell me which word did you actually accent there?
Was there a pause, right? Because he's our quarterback right now. It sounds better than he's our quarterback, pause, right now.
It's very, very – the comma placement is crucial. I would agree with you. But any chance you think that Murray is taken number one overall? Because we could connect dots, as we all know, with Kingsbury and Murray and number one overall and et cetera, et cetera.
Look, it's still being floated around. People that don't know but are here with other teams. You talk about it. It continues to say, "Hey, I wouldn't rule it out." Based off what? I'm just telling you, I wouldn't rule it out. So there's nothing. It's not steeped in any fact. But until they turn in the card at number one, and maybe this will draw some more intrigue to our coverage. But until they turn the card in, I don't think we can completely rule that thing out. Somebody brought this up to me the other day. How about this for a plan for the Cardinals in the offseason?
Okay.
They take Kyler Murray at 1, right? You trade Rosen for a 1 somewhere else in this draft to whatever team, right? So you come away with Kyler Murray, another really good player, and then you have that pick at the top of the second round, which you trade for Antonio Brown. Maybe you have to add a little sugar to something else. And then you line up next year with Kyler Murray, David Johnson, Antonio Brown, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, and you go run that air raid offense. It's kind of fun, right?
Sold.
I like it. Well, Brockman, you would
as
say,
long as that Rosen pick goes to the Patriots.
Yes.
Yeah.
One caveat.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we slagging on Rosen though? I mean, what's your evaluation
Look,
of him
I told
after
you
the
I
first
had
year?
Rosen. I like Rosen. You went and hired Cliff Kingsbury. So what's more out of the box? I mean, you hired a coach who just got fired at Texas Tech to be your NFL head coach. You know, punting on a quarterback after 1 year to bring in his guy would not be the craziest thing you've done in the offseason.
Kirk, Brown, Fitzgerald, David Johnson, Kyler Murray. Let's roll. Patrick Peterson in the secondary. Chandler Jones up front.
Chandler Jones. Yeah. It's kind of fun, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. You got to throw that out there many times during our broadcast over the next.
I'm
4
tweeting
days.
that out right now. I'm tweeting it out right now.
We just need some more airtime. If only we had time to do these types of discussions.
But it also, too, DJ, Daniel Jeremiah, here in the Honda Insider Report, before we have a bunch of time together on the NFL Network Live over the next few days. But Nick Bosa's out there, man. I mean, right? You could still have Rosen at the controls of everything that you just said, but add Bosa to Chandler Jones and go hunt. I mean, that guy, how special is Nick Bosa compared to other pass rushers that have come out, maybe even Myles Garrett, number 1 overall, his brother, who went top 5. Where does Bosa rank on all of that?
He's really good, man. In terms of my, recent guys that went way up there that I had big grades on, for me, he would be behind Garrett and Clowney, who are just two physical freaks. But I have a higher grade on him than Bradley Chubb, and we saw Bradley Chubb go double digits last year as a rookie. He is a really, really good player. So, I get to see his brother each and every week during the fall, and you see a lot of similarities there. I know you're happy he's moving on from Ohio State, but
man.
I mean, if he's healthy, Rich, for me, I just turn in the card and I feel great about it, number 1.
I've given up a long time ago about being happy that Bosa's leave Ohio State because there's always another one coming. I
know.
Keep trying. It's like a turnstile, for crying out loud. And I've had enough of it. And by the way, I'm not talking about going around the tackle with the turnstile, but give me somebody you're excited to see that we're not talking about coming into the combine.
Yeah, man. Look, people always ask, what's your favorite part of the combine? It's pretty simple, man. Let's watch fast guys run fast. And when you look at the receiver position, another one from Ohio State, Paris Campbell, is going to fly. And then there's a kid, Mecole Hardman from Georgia, who, when you watch him on the tape, Rich, he just jumps off the screen. He's so explosive. So guys like that, watching them get a chance to run. Now, Rashawn Gary, your guy, everything I hear is buckle up. He's gonna put on a show. He's gonna be 280, and he's gonna run some ridiculous 40 time and blow out all the other testing. So it's fun, man. I know some people, it's the underwear Olympics. Come on, we get to watch these guys run around, catch the football, throw the football, run and jump. It's the best.
I know. It's exciting. And you have in your top 5 prospects, you have number 5, T.J. Hockenson, a tight end from Iowa. How do you have a tight end so high on your list?
Because he's 007. I mean, he's a trained killer. He is so fun to watch. I watched him the day after seeing Brockman's guy Gronk beat the Chargers in the postseason on the flight down to Tampa after that game to go to the East-West game. I watched Hockenson, and I'm just seeing Gronk dominate a game in the run game, and this kid is just destroying people in the run game. He is so physical, and then he's more than enough athletically. Catches everything. Runs clean routes. He's a really good player. He's not Gronk. Gronk's a unicorn. There's only one of him. But I've seen how an inline tight end that can really, really block, what an asset he can be. And with all these teams with young quarterbacks, who helps them the most in this draft? To me, it's Hockenson.
All right, and you understand, DJ, what your most important job of the week is, correct?
Oh, am I doing the clock? I don't know. I know Mayock was going to come out of the bullpen. I don't know. Am I running the watch? I
don't think Mayock is going to come. I mean, it would be wonderful if he did. I just don't see him looking at Gruden and saying, hey, late Sunday when I'm running, I'll be there in an hour. I'm going
to miss those 3 interviews tonight of those guys we were thinking about with those first-round picks, but I'll be in there after that. I got to go time of 40.
So you will just make sure you've got the trigger finger that's a little bit more, shall we say, understanding than Mike. Okay. What was the last 40 you timed, actually?
The last 40 I timed would have been at a pro day in, I'd have to go back and look at it. It's 2012. 7 years. I've had 7 years off, man. Wow. That could be good for you.
That's
that could be good for you.
The rusty trigger finger of Daniel Jeremiah.
We got to bet this before the line moves again.
DJ, I really do look forward to hanging with you in the booth and bringing the combine to folks on the NFL Network. Thanks for calling in. Well, I'll see you in Indy.
I appreciate you, brother. See you here soon.
Right back at you. At Move the Sticks. Got to follow me. He's a must follow.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.